Today's Rambam in the second parak, which is the second parak of today's Rambam, which is Hilchos Yom Tov, parak Hey, we have a machlekes between the Rambam and the Rabbi that actually comes up twice in the parak. And the technique of the machlekes is legabe. We have the concept of Beruve Tchumin, as we've been learning, that a person can be koine Shvisas in a certain place ben hashmashes, and that's where he's allowed to walk within the Alpayimama, whatever the halachas of Tchum Shabbos or Yom Tov are. And he's allowed to walk from that place that he was koine Shvisas. That was the place where he, that's where he's living when Shabbos or Yom Tov came in. Halacha is not just himself, but all the nechasim that belong to a person are also koine Shvisas in the place where their owner was koine Shvisas ben hashmashes. The shaila is what's with cheftzei hefker. If you have something that doesn't belong to anyone, and it comes ben hashmashes and nobody owns it, and then on Yom Tov, a person takes it. He's koine it. It's his. So, do you say that it was koine Shvisas in its place, and ben hashmashes wherever it was, even though it was hefker, it had no owner at that time? It's koine Shvisas in that place, or do we say no? That whoever is going to be the first person who's going to pick it up and he's going to own it now. So this chayfetz is considered to be shayvis where the present owner, the one who's zeiche in this hefker on Yom Tov, can walk. And that's ultimately it's a big machlekes within the Rambam and the Rabbi. The Rambam paskins and Halacha Yud, again Yom Tov Perek Halacha Yud, cheftzei hefker harein kiragle misha zocho bahem. That cheftzei hefker are not koine Shvisas on their own in their status of hefker, but rather they follow along with the one who is going to be koine those cheftzei hefker. That's what he says in Halacha Yud. And then he says the same idea again later in Halacha Yud Dalit, where he says, "Ber shel yachid kiragli ba'olav." A pit of water. So that water is like the raglayim, like it goes according to the feet of its owners. Shel oisa ha'ir kiragli anshe oisa ha'ir. V'shel oile bavel shehin misurin lechol. The buyer that was there for the oile bavel, those who are coming up from Bavel to Eretz Yisrael for Yom Tov to be able to use its waters. So it's misurin lechol is something that's designated for everyone. Kiragli hamemale. So the waters go according to the one who fills their pitcher or bucket with it. Shekol mi shemile mehen melichon lamakim shehu mahalech. Whoever fills from that buyer is going to take them to the place where he goes. So this is the Rambam Shita. He says it to us again in Halacha Yud, Cheftzei Hefker, and then again in Halacha Yudalid about the buyer of Eilei Bavel. And the Rambam Shita is that they're not, the Cheftzei Hefker are not koine a Shvisas in their place, ben hashmashes, on their own. Rather, they are going to follow and become part of the nechasim of whoever is going to be zeiche in them, and he'll be able to take the water wherever he is allowed to go. The Rabbi argues in both places. And the Rabbi says, Ta b'mishnasenu v'shalei bavel. I'll explain in a moment. He says it in Halacha Yud, he argues, and then again in Halacha Yudalid, Zeshibush k'meshikasafti l'mayla Halacha Yud. The Rabbi's shita is that cheftzei hefker are koine Shvisas bin koimon, wherever they were shayvis in their state of hefker as Shabbos or Yom Tov came in, that is where they are koine Shvisas, and whoever is going to be zeich in that hefker is going to be limited to take the water within the 2,000 amis or whatever of that boyer, regardless of what the present owner's set of halachas are legabe tchum Shabbos. Where is this machlekes rooted? So very quickly, I want to try to be kitzer, but try to be clear over here. So there's a Mishnah in Masechta Beya, Daf Lamed Tes Amud Aleph. The Mishnah says, "Ber shel yachid kiragli hayachid, shel anshe isa'ir kiragli anshe isa'ir, v'shel oili bavel kiragli hamimali." That's really that halacha Yudalid that we read from the Rambam. So then the Mishnah clearly paskins that shel oili bavel kiragli hamimali. Again, that those waters of the beir of oili bavel, they are going to follow whoever is mimali, whoever fills water from that beir. So this Mishnah is the basic source, l'chaura, and the Rabbi says that that's the source of the Rambam as well. For this din, that something that's hefker is going to follow the rules or the reshus of the one who is going to be zeiche min hefker on that Yom Tov. However, it says the Rabbi that it's a mistake. In other words, it's emes that that's the shita of that Mishnah. The Rabbi says there's a Gemara in Erevin, Daf Mem Hey, which contradicts that. Because there's the Shita of Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri in the Mishnah, Erevin Mem Hey Amud Aleph. And Rabbi Yochanan, there's a story about a person who's sleeping, Ben Hashmashas. Because he's sleeping, he's traveling, he's sleeping Ben Hashmashas, so he didn't have anything in mind to be Koine Shvisas in a certain place because he's sleeping. So Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri says, Yeshle alpaim amalachol ruach, that though he had no machshava to be Koine Shvisa, nevertheless, he still has he's limited to that place. The place where he slept in Hashmashas is the place where he is Koine Shvisa, and he can only go 2,000 amas from every area over there. The Chachanim say no. He wasn't Koine Shvisa there. He didn't think about it. He didn't have any kavanah. He was sleeping. So he's not Koine Shvisa. He's stuck in the middle of the way. That's it. He can only walk 4 amas. He doesn't have a din that he was shoyvus in that place. That's what the Gemara says. That's what the Mishnah says. And the Gemara explains that they're really arguing about Chefsi Hefker as well. Because just like a person who's sleeping has no kavanah to be Koine Shvisa. And Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri said that nevertheless he was Koine Shvisa. And the Chachamim said he wasn't Koine Shvisa. This is really the same argument about Chefsi Hefker. The Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri would say that Chefsi Hefker are Koine Shvisa b'mkoiman, even though they don't belong to anyone. So there's no one that has any machshava that they should be Koine Shvisa. It's just like the person who was sleeping. So Rabbi Yochanan would say Chefsi Hefker are Koine Shvisa b'mkoiman. And the Chachamim who say the person is not Koine Shvisa would say Chefsi Hefker is also not Koine Shvisa. And therefore, whoever picks it up first is going to follow that person. And Zakti Gemara later on that Memvav Amud Aleph, that Halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Rabbi Shua ben Levi says Halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Says the Ravid, Eibazeh, the Rambam is wrong. Because Ein Hachanami, the Rambam Paskin, the Chefsi Hefker are not Koine Shvisa based on the Mishnah and Be'el Lamates. But he knows that in the Mishnah and Erevin and Daf Mem Hey we learn that it's Machlokes Chachamim and Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. And the Gemara clearly says that their argument is about Chefsi Hefker, yes, Koine Shvisa, not Koine Shvisa. And the Gemara there says Halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. Kumta said the Gemara over there paskin like this Shita Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri that Chefsi Hefker are Koine Shvisa bin Koimon. Just like a person is Koine Shvisa bin Koimon. Zakir Ravid, Eibazid Rambam is nicht gerecht. It's a shibush like he says. Because Einachanami he paskin from a Mishnah in Beya, but in the Gemara native in a straight clear that we don't paskin like that Mishnah. That Mishnah goes a little bit of Shittas Chachomim in Mishnah native and the halachas Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri. That's the time of the Ravid, and that's why the Ravid holds that Chefsi Hefker are yes Koine Shvisa ben Koiman and don't go Kiragli Hamemali. That's what he says. The Maisa is everyone answers. Everyone answers the Ravid, the Maggid Mishnah, right away the Migdalez, and Azay is Pashat and Halacha, the Torah, the Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe. Everyone passes like the Rambam, and they say for a very Pashta Cheshbon. If you read Einochanami, everything the Ravid said is correct, except that right after the Gemara says in Erevin that Halacha Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri that Chefsi Hefker is Koine Shvisa. So the Gemara says why? Because Halacha Kedivrei Hamekel Be'eruv. When the Gemara paskin Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, he wasn't paskening the emes like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri that he's right. We're saying that Halacha Kedivrei Hamekel Be'eruv. We go like the Mekel. So in Hachanami Lagabi, the Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, where he was talking about the guy who was sleeping. So there, Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri is the Mekel. Because he's saying since he's Koine Shvisa ben Koine, he's not stuck by derech with Dalad Amas. He's able to walk 2,000 Amas deep sat. Mashenk in Lagabi the din of the Milimayim, of the Mayim of the bird for the Eli Bavel, over there is Fakert. If you paskin that it was Koine Shvisa, then the person who draws the water is limited by the Kinyan Shvisa that was in the bird by Ben Hashmashas. Mashenkin, if you hold that it's not Koine Shvisa bin Koine, then it's Karagli Hamamali. He's not limited. He takes the water wherever he can go. So since Halacha Kedivri Rabbi Yochanan Kedivri Hamekel Be'erevin, so Einochanami in Erevin Halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Nuri, that the guy who's sleeping is Take yes Koine Shvisa ben Koine, and he has Alpayim Amalachol Tzad. Mashenkin Lagabi the Shaila in Beya Lagabi the Boyer Shel Rabim. So over there, we would say the other way. We would say that you're Mekel, and you say that it's not Koine, the Chefsi Hefker, or the Mayim Shel Hefker is not Koine Shvisa ben Koimon, and therefore is Kiragle Hamemali. Again, that's the answer. That's the answer that the Rishonim, or the Maggid Mishnah, and everyone give to this, that they give it to this Rambam. And that's how they found for it. And Azay Taka Aga Paskin and Shulchan Aruch. So everyone Paskin is Taka like the Rambam in this Shaila. Now, the Ravid though brings a Raya to his Mahalach. Very interesting Raya. And that's what I wanted to discuss. Al Kapanim Bekitzu. The Gemara over there in Beya after the Mishnah in Beya, remember, said that the halacha is that it's kiragle hamimale, because the Mishnah there is paskening, and that's the halacha l'poyel and Rambam. There's kiragle hamimale, the one who is going to draw the water, so the water goes according to him. So the Gemara brings a machlekes. Machlekes says Gemara, itmar mile v'nosan lechaveri. What if he filled the water, but he didn't fill it for himself, he gave it to his friend? Rav Nachman Omar, kiragli mishen ismalu loy. Rav Shvisas Omar, kiragli hamimali. Rav Nachman says that the din Shvisa goes according to the one who the water was drawn for. So again, Reuven drew the water for Shimon. Says Rav Nachman, so it goes according to Shimon. Rav Shvisas Omar, kiragli hamimali. Rav Shvisas says it goes like it's limited to the feet, to the reshus of the one who actually drew the water, not the one for whom it's drawn. That's the machlokes of Rav Nachman and Rav Shvisas. Says the Rabbi, it's interesting to know that the Rif is mashmit, doesn't bring at all this machlokes, Rav Nachman and Rav Shvisas. And also the Rambam, Taki doesn't bring, the Rambam goes like the Rif and doesn't bring at all this machlokes if it's kiragle hamimali or kiragle mishin esmalaloi. Zog the Rabbi farfas. Why was the Rif? Why didn't it bring this machlekes? Says Ravid Pasha. Lashidas Ravid is beautiful because since, according to the Ravid, the whole Mishnah in Beya is not a libid hilchasa. Because the whole Mishnah in Beya that says Karagli Mishnah Smale is paskening that Chefse Hefker are not Kena Shvisa. But the Gemara in Erevin said Halacha Rabbi Menuri that it is Kena Shvisa. So if it's Kena Shvisa, it's not Leragli Hamimali, not Leragli Mishnah Smale. It makes no difference. Because it doesn't go by them, it goes by the Kinyan Shvisa of this bird by Binashmashas. The Mela says the Ravid that like me, that la halacha chefse hefker are Kinyan Shvisa b'm koimon. So the Mela is not kiragli hamemale and it's not kiragli mishin esmalalei. The Mela the Rif again the Rif doesn't bring that halacha, but doesn't bring the machlekes because that machlekes is not the Geil halacha. It's all in the sheet of the Mishnah and Be'er. That's not a libid hilchas. Mashenkin the Rambam. That the Rambam himself, that the Rambam is paskening like the Mishnah in Beya, which means that it's takle, the chefse hefker, the mayim shel hefker, is not kinish visavim keimon, and it's kiragle memale. So then that opens up a machlekes. Is it kiragle hamemale or ragle mishnas maluloi? So lefi the Rambam, why didn't the Rif bring the halacha? Nochmel lefi the Rambam, why didn't the Rambam bring the halacha? That's the raya that the Ravid brings l'shita say against Shitas Rambam. Starke Raya. Nu sagen shein, sag lech the Magid Mishnah. Mishnah says no. What's the reason for that machlekes of Rav Nachman and Rav Shvisas? If it's kiragle hamamali, kiragle mishin esmalaloi. So in the Gemara, there's one way. We'll get to it soon, maybe. And then the Gemara finally says no, that they're arguing if a magbia mesila chaveri kona chaveri or le kona chaveri. That's the shaila. Kiragle hamamali, the pashtos a magbia mesila chaveri le kona chaveri. So it goes kiragle hamamali. Or kiragle mishin esmalaloi, because I'm magbia mesila chaveri kona chaveri. No, the Rambam already passed a long time ago that a magbi masiyah chaveri kona chaveri. So Mela, the Rambam doesn't have to say the halacha over here. It's Pashu. Knows hayes the Rambam passed that the mayim of the hefker is not kinish risabim kema. Rather, it goes by the person who's zeichen in it. And the Rambam already passed the Rambam passed in halacha magbi masiyah chaveri kona chaveri. So Mela, in this case, if it's memala avur chaveri, so the chaveri is kind of so it's keragla mishnah malale. As is the magid mishnah. So the Rambam didn't have to bring that machlekes, because that machlekes is already an oga paskin to machlekes in Rambam. It's interesting that if you look in the Alter Rebbe, the Tur, the Shulchan Aruch, all of them, they paskin farkert. They paskin the poyo that is kiragle hamimali. Not kiragle mishin esmalaloi. Even though the halacha is taka marvim tzila chaveri kona chaveri. So based on Rabbi Tam in the sugi over there in Beya, which he says farkert. If you hold a magbiyim tzila chaveri, Kona Chaveri, then the din was Kiragle Hamimali. Because when one person is picking it up and being kind for the other, it's the only reason he can be kind for the other is because migid is zachil and avshei zachil like the Gemara says b'mitzvah. You're kind for the other because of your ability to kind for yourself. But if you be kind for yourself, then it will be mugbal to you. So therefore, it's kiragle hamemali. It was the opposite of the Magid Mishnah. They talk about it. The Drisha talks about it. It's two opposite ways. In other words, how to learn Lepoil, what's the halacha? Is it kiragle hamemali or kiragle Mishnah smalaloi? So the Magid Mishnah says it's kiragle Mishnah smalaloi because I'm going to be able to say and the Rambam B'chad doesn't have to say it because it's Horim Shutim. The Shita of the halacha, again, the Torah, the Shulchan Aruch, and the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Tam, they all learn fakert. That at the end of the day, the halacha is kiragle hamemali. Even if I'm not being Masila Chaveri, Kona Chaveri. No, and the Ram Taka says that that's Taka the Pshat on the Rif. That the Rif was mashmit this halacha because he calls it Karagle Mamali, not Karagle Mishnah Smalaloi. In other words, we have here an interesting thing. In the Gemara, there's machlekes. If it's Karagle Hamamali or Karagle Mishnah Smalaloi. The Rambam and the Rif were mashmit to this machlekes. They didn't bring it b'chla. So the Rabbi says because we don't pass like this Mishnah, so the machlekes is irrelevant. But the Rambam does pass like this Mishnah, so why doesn't it bring the halacha? So we have here two tzaddim. One side is because for sure he would pass in his karag Mishnah smalaloi, and that's pashut. That's the derech of the Magid Mishnah. Or fakert, it's got pashut that he passes in his karag hamamali, and based on the lamdas because of Amabiyah Masila Chaveri Kana Chaveri is based on Migid Zachel and Avshei Zachel and Amel Chavrei. No, it's both. It's obviously it's interessant machlekes, and I'm just giving you over the basic shittas in the scene, but it's interesting that the Rambam didn't feel the need b'chlal to bring the machlekes. And as the Torah, the Shulchan Aruch, they all bring it. They bring those machlekes from Nachman of Sheshes. They don't say machlekes, but they say the halacha is it's keragle mishnah smalalei, and the Rambam leaves it all. I want to just mamish that's the shir, that's the nekudas hadvarim. But we're talking. I want to share mamish one vart just to open to something to think about. This machlekes of kiragle hamemali kiragle mishnah smalalei. So the Gemara ultimately says it's machlekes and Rabbi Utzila Chaveri Kona Chaveri, or not the different. So it's the Rashi and Tesis. But first, the Gemara says a different svara. The initial svara the Gemara gives and what the machlekes is, says the Gemara, it's a shaila if marsav are bira de hefkeirahu or marsav are bira de shutfihu. The one holds, the Nachman who holds that it's for that Skaragli mission is smalaloi. He holds that this bird has a din of shutfis. It belongs to everyone. So when I'm drawing the water for him, it's like I'm his shliach to bring him his water. Mashenker of Sheshes who says this Karagli Hamimale, he holds bira de hefkera. It doesn't belong to anyone. So therefore, when I picked it up, I was the one who was kind of. Then I gave it to my friend. This shtikle Gemara, that's svar in the Gemara. If this is bira de hefkera, bira de shutfi, is the makir later Ragid Shavar. Ragid Shavar says in a few places. The Rebbe brings it in the Sichas in a couple of places. In the Chelik Yud Beis Vayikra, Chelik Tezayin Pashas Boy. So the Rebbe brings from the Ragid Shavar a chira about hefker. Does hefker is something that belongs to no one, or hefker is something that belongs to everyone? You do a little bit. The Ragid Shavar is chira and hefker. Does hefker belong to everyone or to no one? It's brought in others for him as well. And the Ragid Shavar says that that's this machlekes over here. If bira is bira the hefkera, or is bira the shutfi? This is the boy for the water of the Eli Bavel. What kind of a din does it have? Is it a din of hefker or a din of shutfi? That would be the machlekes. The Maisa is in the Sikh and Chelik Dazayin, the Rebbe says in Aura that Aval Yesh Lahoyer, that the end, the Gemara doesn't use this hasbara for the machlekes of Rav Nachman and Rav Sheshes. The Gemara says, "Fakir l'kuli alma bira defkeru. Elamana machlekes magdim tzila chaver kana chaver." So the Rebbe just says it as a lahoyer, but l'chur it's a kasha. As how does the Rebbe Shavar explain that the machlekes of Rav Nachman and Rav Sheshes be'etzem is a machlekes in the gather of hefker? If the Gemara says that's not true, that's not the machlekes. It's a shayla and pshat on the Ragid Shavar, and again the Rebbe brings the Ragid Shavar again and again. And this machlekes is one that the Ragid Shavar brings again and again. Saying nedarim, saying matmasanim. What's the pshat? So l'chura kemetrachten again nekudel machshava that the Gemara said that there's machlekes and Nachman of Sheshes. If the beir of the Eli Regel is the beir of hefker, a beir of shutfas. So the Gemara asks it. You can't say that because we see from another place that Rav Nachman holds that the beir of Eli Regel is the beir of hefker. We see it's a beir of hefker, so it can't be he holds here it's a beir of shutfas. So the Gemara says, can actually that the Gemara is saying that for sure, Rav Nachman holds that the geder of the water of the beir of an elabavel is for sure something that belongs to no one. It's a geder of hefker. That doesn't mean that there's other hefkers, which is an reif and that it belongs to everyone. In other words, even the Rabbi Shaver, when he brings this chakira, what's the geder of hefker, he doesn't say there has to be all this way or all that way. He says there could be a hefker that belongs to everyone, and there could be a hefker that belongs to no one. So perhaps for Pshat in the Rabbi Shaver, when Rabbi Shaver said he saw in this Gemara machlekes, if it's bira dafker or bira the shutfus, but this was agishlog, this is not this as far as machlekes. Ken zayin. The Gemara says it can't be that that's what they were arguing about b'kesher to the water of the Beir Shel Eli Bavel, because the water of the Beir Shel Eli Bavel, Rav Nachman clearly holds as bira dafker. But perhaps not the waters of Eli Bavel, but regular hefker. After Darton is talking of Nachman and of Shvisas is talking have this machlekes. In a regular hefker, not the hefker of the waters of Eli Bavel the way it was in the olden days, but a regular hefker, maybe talking of Nachman and of Shvisas, still arguing that machlekes that the Gemara said, whether it's a bira defker or a bira de shutbis. What's the geder of hefker? Does hefker belong to everyone or hefker belong to no one? Even the maskana, that remains a beer, a machlekes or nachman of sheshes, though it can't be the beer legabe their machlekes of the waters of that Eli Bavel in this piece of Gemara. If that's amas, can neshatrachna alumdus. That maybe the Rambam is talking about by us when it's taka beer shall hefker regular hefker, and maybe the Rambam tackles like the shita, which is a big shita brought down a lot. Then maybe hefker belongs to everyone. So if Be'emes Hefker belongs to everyone, so then it's Pashut, that it's Kiragli Mishin Ismaluloi, like the Gemara Taki said, that if you hold that it's a Bira de Shutfis, for sure it's Kiragli Mishin Ismaluloi, because the one who's being Mala is only as a Shliach of the Mishin Ismaluloi to bring him his thing. And Melasaki not Negeya and Machlekes of Ragli Mamali, Ragli Spalulay, which is a Dinam Avim Sila Chavere Kana Chavere, which was only in that particular case. Mashenkin in the case of the Rambam. Yeah, obviously it's a longness. Obviously the problem is the Rambam himself says he's talking about the Bershel, he mentions Bershel Eli Bavel. So it sounds like his mamish. Yes, saying that case of the Gemara of Bershel Eli Bavel. Yeah, obviously that's the problem. Elamai is to say, the Rambam says an interesting lashon. If we read earlier, the Rambam said, "V'shel Eli Bavel shehin misurin lekol." I don't know. The Rambam is saying that Eli Bavel in a way of misurin lekol, where Tzaki belongs to everyone. It's not just hefker. That's not no one's. It's everyone's. Maybe that case in Yanni Gemara of Nachman was a different type of a Beir Shel Eli Bavel. Yeah, it's shver. Taki shver. This is just a word lemachshava legabi the sugya. Over the ikra dvarim is takel machlekes the Rambam derivid, and I was totally in understanding the machlekes of the Mishnah in Daf Lamates and Beya versus the Gemara native in Daf Lamhed. Halacha Rabbi and Ben Nuri. What does that mean? And then the raya of the Ravid and the different mahalchim and for entering the raya of the Ravid kegen the Rambam.